Around Pala farm theft is a headache that the president just cannot escape for the time being. This week, to remind you, the Western Cape High Court ruled that his decision to suspend Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane was unlawful. Also to remind you, the judges suggested there may have been bias and an improper motive for the decision. Let's bring into the discussion political analyst Ebrahim Harvey joining us this evening on SA Tonight. Ebrahim, good to have you back on eNCA as always. And there were questions even right in the beginning when the suspension happened around the timing of this. What did you make of the High Court decision?
Well, no, I expected, Gareth, the High Court decision. I knew from the outset when I looked at his decision to suspend the Public Protector and also the circumstances around it. She had just posed a whole lot of relevant questions regarding his Pala Gate scandal, you know. And, I'm amazed who Ramaphosa's advisors was, you know. The court found flagrantly unlawful, improper was the words that it used. That suspension should not have taken place. But Gareth, don't forget, look at the DA's response. The DA, I believe, is correct. That order has to be held in abeyance. That order is only valid when the Constitutional Court ratifies and accepts it. That is what the DA has pointed out. And please be cognizant of that. In other words, the Public Protector, from my understanding, cannot resume office tomorrow. The Public Protector's resuming office, and depending how, when, is dependent on the Apex Court ratifying the decision of the Western Cape High Court. But a whole lot of things happen. Let me tell you, I believe this. I can't believe. I mean, Ramaphosa is a lawyer. He's got advisors. I knew that there's a problem, you know, and you could see the EFF and opposition parties also going for him. The grounds upon which he suspended her was very problematic all along. But what this will do is that it's going to strengthen the cause for his impeachment. The opposition to exploit this decision of the High Court, you know, no doubt. And this is how you must see this. If the Public Protector had lost this case, I think the calls for her to be removed, that she's not fit for office, would have been strengthened. This, that she, partial victory for her. Not that it removes the arguments for her to be removed from office. No, that process will still unfold. But what it has done, it has helped her somewhat, and it has dug this hole that Ramaphosa is in, because, you know, simultaneously there's an impeachment process underway. I believe, you know, I don't know what is happening. Look at the pothole saga in Delmas the other day. What is happening with Ramaphosa is that he's faced with so many serious crises that he's losing his mind, or you know, the people who's advising him is just completely out of touch with what is happening.
Many people, Ebrahim, suggesting it seems like the wheels of the presidency are just spinning at the moment, ahead especially of that elective conference later in the year as well. Because what this is going to cause an issue of is the honesty and transparency talk that we hear from the president all the time to his own cadres within the ANC, to his own country as the national president. But yet, some are suggesting there's a level of hypocrisy that the president is displaying right now by not wanting to answer a very simple 31 questions. Is this the kind of leadership we need in our country?
No, you know, Gareth, I must be honest with you. I know Cyril for 40 years this year. I met him in Numa's founded 1982. It's not only this, you know, I have to agree with your sentiment. I mean, I don't know what he's going, but, you know, it's a flat contradiction in terms. For him to be calling for transparency since he took office in 2018, early after Zuma resigned. And you look at, in fact, the reason why I believe he started going for the Public Protector already some time ago is because she demanded that the people who contributed to the CR campaign in 2017 be published, you know, and he took I mean, offense, and you can see things change after that. But it comes down to this question of transparency. I mean, the opposition is completely correct. He refused to answer the questions. I mean, then there's an extension now with the Reserve Bank. Palpably, we can see evidence looming clear that Cyril is not transparent. He is flatly contradicting. And, you know, he has continuously called for transparency, especially in his, the combating of corruption, etc. And here, when he, as head of the state, must deliver that transparency, he refuses to talk to journalists. It's not going to be, no pressure is going to be put on him to say anything about the Farag scandal. Reasonable question from journalists. All in all, honestly, you know, for transparency, you must give him 2 out of 10. Which is
should
terrible,
the
you know?
Ebrahim, should the president of the ANC step aside?
Well, your question is premature. I'll tell you why. The ANC's rules of step aside only kicks in, and this must be emphasized, when he's charged. Cyril has not been charged, you know, only when phrases, things, charges lead to the NPA and the prosecuting authorities and the police charging Ramaphosa. Then, and only then, is the question valid about him stepping aside. I don't think, you know, I don't buy the argument. A lot of people have said that you should step aside now already. There's other forces at play. There's another faction. One must be mindful of what is happening. So much so that I've even argued in my column today in News 24 that despite everything, all the weaknesses, all the failures, look at 2002, the end of December now with the electoral conference. If he doesn't stand, what is going to happen? You have to take that. And he scored some big points with anti-corruption, no doubt. I mean, you can see Brian in court last week. Things are happening. And if he doesn't stand for election, or he stands or he's beaten, what is going to happen to the ANC and this country? That is the big question. So
and we don't have to wait very long at all for that question to be answered, because we're now going quickly into mid-September. December is going to be fascinating, and that's why these discussions are so important, to see the temperature of how the country sees the president ahead of December. Ebrahim, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening. It's always good to speak to Ebrahim Harvey here on eNCA, political analyst, taking a look at what has been a big talking point over the past few days as well, involving the president and the public protector.